and I won't back down.
71 million Americans said last night, now we're not backing down. You call me a racist, you call me a fascist, you call me a sexist, you call me whatever you want. I'm an American. First and foremost, I'm an American, and I'm turning this country around, and it starts on November 5th, 2024, and that's exactly what happened last night. And the demographic that appears to have turned in the most unpredictable way possible when you go back 8 years is the Latino vote in this country. I have so many data points to look at that I want to share with you here on KCMO. And this one stands out to me. This is a micro example, and then I'll get to some macro stuff here. Starr County is a county in South Texas. It is 96% Latino. Donald Trump won Starr County by 16 points last night. Remember they were saying that Ted Cruz was going to lose, and Democrats have been saying they're going to flip Texas for 4 election cycles now. They really haven't come all that close. In fact, when you look at the numbers, Trump did better in Texas this time around than he did 4 years ago. That's pretty amazing when you think about it, right? He won it by 7.5 over Biden. He won it, the last I looked, he won it by, let's see where we're at right now in Texas, 14 points. He doubled his win in Texas. Starr County is 96% Latino. In 2016, Donald Trump lost the county by 60 points, 6-0. Not 16, 60 points. He won it by 16 last night. If anyone knows of a precedent for a 76-point electoral swing over the span of 8 years, I would love to hear about it. And since the 2012 election, since Mitt Romney lost, we've been told that Republicans, they're never going to win again. They can't win another national election. The demographics are changing in America. To suddenly, a guy who calls for mass deportations of illegal immigrants who are especially violent criminals just won Hispanic males nationally based on some of the exit polls by 10 points. And he dramatically shifted Hispanic communities all across the nation. And these are the numbers that are continuing to come in. And it's not just Texas. It's not just Florida. It is all over the country, including Michigan.
Donald Trump is winning the Latino vote in Michigan with 60% of the vote. Harris, 35% of the vote. That's a 25% advantage for Trump among Latinos. That is a big change when Biden won Latinos in Michigan by 11 points 4 years ago. That's a 36-point swing in the margin.
36-point swing with Michigan Latinos towards Donald Trump. Yet the legacy media spent weeks leading up to this election insisting that Latinos can't vote for Donald Trump because, well, he wants to deport some people who came in illegally. And he had an insult comic at a rally who made a joke about Puerto Rico. And we were told by Politico and so many others, they wrote all these pieces. Oh, the Puerto Rican community is turning on Trump. Well, look at this. Here's another data point for you. In Florida, the Puerto Rican vote shifted towards Trump. According to the exit polls, Kamala Harris won the Puerto Rican demographic 52-43. So she won the Puerto Rican vote by 9 points. Biden won the same group by 38, 69-31 4 years ago. So the Puerto Rican vote in Florida went from Democrat plus 38 to Democrat plus 9. A 30-point swing in Puerto Rican voters towards Donald Trump. When you were told that, oh my goodness, how are they ever going to vote for Donald Trump when an insult comic showed up and called Puerto Rico as a joke a pile of garbage? Was it the best political strategy, as I said, for the last 2 weeks? No, it wasn't. But was it the thing that was going to decide the election? Highly unlikely. As it turns out, Puerto Rican voters can take a joke, but don't want to vote for a joke. That's the takeaway. And with the way these Latino votes are shifting, Democrats are suddenly going to become border hawks because this is not turning out the way they thought it would. And why might that be? Well, because working class voters across the country shifted towards Donald Trump. Black, Latino, Asian, white, they all moved towards Donald Trump because guess what? You know what working class people think about and do a lot more of? Buy eggs and meat, not get abortions. And I know for those who are in more highly educated, blue-ish suburban areas, you know, they probably weren't impacted by the price of eggs a lot. They're in a home. They have been for years. They're not necessarily looking to buy that first home, to live the American dream, be a first-generation American, set up future generations to live that same American dream that they want to live. They don't obsess over abortions like Karens in Leawood and Prairie Village and other parts of the country do. They just don't because they can't afford to. And it's like not a way that people really think anyway. That was always a play that was meant to drive up the white, female, highly educated vote. And it didn't break the way they thought it was going to break. Kamala Harris did not run up the numbers like they thought she was going to run it up with those people. Meantime, basically every other demographic in red and in blue states shifted towards Donald Trump. New Jersey was a Biden plus 16 state. She won it by 5 points yesterday. Virginia was a Biden plus 12 state. She only won it by 5. Blue states moved substantially the other way. And if the party can't realize that and do some self-reflection here, if they're going to go back into the MSNBC bubble and just try to convince people that, well, you know what? You've got to examine your own racism here. You've got to examine your own sexism here. Then they have completely missed the boat. 913-408-7957 on KCMO. It's a celebratory Wednesday as we go to James in KCK. What's up, buddy?
I want to comment on the celebration and long live liberty and freedom. And people are waking up, and I hope that we are a light to the entire world where Marxism has taken hold. And we're experiencing probably is the end of the French Revolution, who fathered Marxism. And I know you think that old people are crazy. Well, you know, I'm an old guy predating World War II. And I know well what is going on in this country and worldwide, and we have to stand up and drive all those dictators in South America who keep the people poor. And
do you have ties? Do you have ties to down there by chance, James?
Please repeat that again.
Do you have ties to another country?
No, I was born in America.
Okay.
I was born in America. I'm a Latino. I was born here. And I experienced a lot of history. Not only do I read books, newspapers, and I listen to guys like you.
Well, let me ask you, James, the Latino community shift in general, how surprised are you by it as a Latino American?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of them did, but not in general, because I think there's still too many that have this idea. I was born a Democrat. My parents told me there was a party of the poor, and I was not a Democrat. I have some in my own family that have that belief, and I argue with them all the time and say, wait a minute, you know what? You have to stop to think a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a country of liberty and freedom, and people who come to this country who really believe in liberty and freedom, they should be allowed to stay here. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of them that don't.
Well,
there's
James,
from all over the world coming here. Yeah.
What you've seen is obviously a major shift in that Latino vote, and even in Wyandotte County, the numbers shifted towards Republicans in Wyandotte County, mostly across the board.
Yeah, I hope so. Wanda County has to learn a lesson.
Well, they did. They did. Hey, thank you. I appreciate you, James. I'm glad you're here, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. 913-408-7957. Yeah, Wyandotte County shifting about 5 points towards Donald Trump in the presidential race from just a few years ago. Meantime, Johnson County stayed about the same. It was Biden by 8, and it was Kamala by 8. So it's really fascinating when you actually break down those numbers and you see how it's playing out right here in our backyard. 913-408-7957. Celebratory morning here on KCMO. I know some of you want to go into what's next? Just enjoy the day. Okay, let's not do that today. I'm really not interested. I am not. And I don't think anybody should be. It's like after the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, being like, well, what are we doing at backup cornerback? Who cares? Who cares? Don't be that guy. Don't be the guy the day after a Super Bowl wondering what you're doing at third string running back. Okay? Just enjoy it. We're here for you on KCMO 913-408-7957. It's Pete Mundo on 95.7 FM KCMO and streaming all morning long on the KCMO Talk Radio app. On the text line, and we'll get back to you on KCMO. Pete, I recently attended a family gathering of relatives from around the Midwest, Texas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, California, New York, South Dakota. They know my political beliefs. Everybody felt pessimistic about a Trump win. Going through yard signs, Facebook posts, Twitter. Every day I walk through Overland Park in my neighborhood, 4 to 5 signs were for Kamala. I said last week that I didn't think Trump was going to win Johnson County, but don't do it based on the yard signs and don't do it based on Facebook. Who is now in this environment the most likely individual to share with you their political beliefs? Whether it's at work, in your neighborhood, who is it? It's the woke progressives. A lot of it's virtue signaling, but they are now the most likely to tell you how they feel about politics. They're the most likely to put up a yard sign. They're the most likely to go on Facebook and try to tell you and make sure you know how they feel. That's why this movement, the 71 million Americans who voted for Donald Trump, and those are not final numbers yet. We'll see how it plays out over the next day or so. But the 70-plus million Americans who voted for Donald Trump, who delivered him a win in the presidential race last night, they are still a silent majority. There will be people in your space and in your life, maybe not yours, but there are people out there who will never admit they went into the voting booth and voted for Donald Trump. Meantime, on the other side, there are very few Kamala Harris voters who will deny that they voted for Kamala Harris. Right? So that's why the yard sign game was always blown out of proportion. It was the same thing in my neighborhood. It was probably 4-1 Harris. But what happened in my Kansas House district? Republican Charlotte Esau beat incumbent Democrat Dennis Miller. My state senator, Beverly Gossage, a Republican, won by, when I looked up this morning, it was 20 points. So I know where my neighborhood is at, but it was probably 4-1 Harris to Trump yard signs. That Trump voter is still not braggadocious. They go about their business. They don't define themselves necessarily by their politics, but they know what they don't like. On the other side, what I would see in my neighborhood, the people that put up Harris signs put up 3. Literally, I had a guy in the corner of my street. He had up 3 Harris signs. I'm like, buddy, we get it, okay? I don't need 3. I mean, do what you want. I don't care. I just drive by it every day and wave to the guy. But it's like, dude, I get it, okay? I don't need 3 signs with the flag on top of it, okay? But that's what the voter is. And who's going to be on Facebook? Who's more likely to be on Facebook? The working class, white, Hispanic, Latino, black voter who's voting for Trump? Or the progressive in Northeast Johnson County who's going to Starbucks, driving home with the yard sign, posting on Facebook how virtuous they are to their friends? And that's exactly what you saw in those results last night. 408-795-7. Tammy and Shawnee, what's up, Tammy? You're on KCMO.
Good morning, Pete. It's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day. Now I want to see everybody just work together and let's get it done.
Absolutely.
I tell you what. If I didn't have a JOB, what I would really love to do today is sit at home on my couch, have a cocktail, and watch The View. That would be so awesome.
Oh, that is great. You know, I may have to actually watch The View today as well. Get some popcorn, and at that point, I may just be spiking my coffee because I'm just going to be in celebration mode. That is very well done, Tammy and Shawnee.
You have a great day, Pete.
You as well. Thanks so much. That's great. Absolutely outstanding. 913-408-795-7 on KCMO Talk Radio, 95.7 FM. Oh, that's very well done. I didn't think about that. Joy watching The View today. And something tells me they are not going to understand what happened. They're not. I know that's going to surprise you, but they're not going to understand what happened last night. They will have no clue. And I'm here for it. Smitty and Olathe, let it rip.
Hey, Pete. You know, I know the other side there is going to have a little bit of issue. You know, they're going to go to the well over and over again. But all I know is we got the Trump.
Oh, all right, Smitty. Enjoy it, buddy. Enjoy it.
My wife's calling. I got to
go. Bridget, St. Joe. Go ahead, Bridget.
What a great morning.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say thank you to the people that put their feelings aside, went to the polls, cast a vote for Donald J. Trump. Even though they may not care for the man, they put their feelings aside and did what was right for our country, and we owe those folks a thank you.
Bridget, thank you. Appreciate the call. I will add this as well. I meant to mention this after talking to Tammy and Shawnee, but in Kansas, Laura Kelly did not break the supermajorities in the Kansas House or the Senate. She tried to do it through Johnson County, and she failed to do it. And that, to me, is actually a bit surprising. So Republicans will hold supermajorities in the Kansas House and the Kansas Senate.